It's time for Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore. A Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you.
Brought to you by Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet of Waterford.
Plan your next vehicle purchase or get your credit rolling in the right direction with Regina today. And now, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday.
Good morning. Happy Saturday, everybody.
Well, if you're not up, we want you to get up and listen to our show for an hour and so you can be entertained and have fun and just get your morning going.
Yeah, wake up, everybody. No more
Sleeping in bed. Let's do it again. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed.
Come on, what's up, everybody?
Hey,
it's Saturday morning.
On?
I'm so excited to be in the studio today.
Why are you excited to be in the studio this morning? I know you look forward to seeing the Queen every Saturday morning. But
how did you know that?
Well, because it's in your DNA.
I know.
I'm part of your DNA now. You know that, right?
Oh Lord.
Lord. Sometimes you can be blessed. When you are siblings and mother, father, that's DNA, right? Yeah. But some people, they can just become a part of your DNA. I'm part of your DNA now.
All right. Y'all here first on being the driver's seat.
I am part of your DNA.
The Queen is a part of my DNA.
I'm part of your DNA.
So what's up? Shout out to every mother. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, mothers, to the aunties and to those who stepped in that are honorary mothers, the TTs. Happy Mother's Day to you. We celebrate and honor you today.
Well, you know what? Thank you. I'm not a mother, but I am a TT.
You are.
I'm a godmother.
You are.
I'm an auntie. And
I don't know, because sometimes you be trying to be my mama, so I don't know. You a TT mom, a sister mama. Come on to your brothers. So I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? So just so blessed that I have the opportunity to be called TT, auntie, and then also to be, what you call me for my brothers?
Sister mama.
Sister mama.
Yeah.
Sister mama.
Yeah.
But you know what? Shout out to everybody. If you want to give us a call this morning, you want to tell your mother Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, call in.
Call in at 866-423-9578. 866-423-9578. If you want to just say Happy Mother's Day, or if your mother's if she's not living and she's in heaven or wherever she is, right?
Yeah, we want to honor her.
Yeah,
so you can shout her name out. I'm going to shout my mama name out. Linda K. Burroughs. I honor you today, even in your absence from this body.
Did I say wherever your mother is? I mean, your mother could be in a different state.
Yeah.
She could be at home in the bed, wherever she is, right?
Yeah. So
I honor my mother, Gwendolyn Woodard.
Hi, Mama Woodard. Yes.
Yeah, Mama Woodard.
So, y'all got the number, 1-866-423-9578. Call in. Let's shout out mothers today. So, Regina, we back in the studio. What's the word of the week?
The word of the week, the word of the day, the word of the week is reroute.
Come on, reroute.
Reroute. And I think we just came up with that word. Usually we come up with the word the day before or during the week, but this morning, I got rerouted and I forgot that the road closed at 11 Mile and South Fair Freeway. Mm-hmm. And I panicked, because my GPS wouldn't say. It was still taking me the same way, even after I turned around. Yeah. And I didn't. I had to call you and I don't even know how to get there. Because I take the same way, and with reroute, it makes me think about, you got to be able to reroute your life.
That's it.
You got to be able to have that second way. Mm-hmm. Don't take the same way. Mm-hmm. The one thing when I learned about working at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet, I have about 3 or 4 ways I can go to work. Mm-hmm. But why don't I have 2 or 3 ways to get to the radio station on Saturday morning?
Because sometimes we don't think about that, right? We're creatures of habit, so we're so used to doing things the same way. And so as a therapist, you know what? I help people change their thought processes. I help people change their route. So, it worked today, but maybe it's not going to work tomorrow. So we have to be able to be flexible, to be able to move, to change direction, and not be so caught up in, I did it this way. Sometimes time where we think the way that we do it is always right, but there's always an alternative way to do something.
Well, that's the thing. You when you're buying a car, always say plan one, choice 1, 2, or 3. Mm-hmm. I have to be to reroute your mind. Mm-hmm. Redirect, reroute. Mm-hmm. You know, you may come in, you say, you know what, I want a new car. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe that new car payment is not what you can afford. Mm-hmm. So I got to reroute your mind. I got to change your mind.
Yeah.
I got to change your mindset. I got to reroute you.
Or give options. And so that's the same thing, like even with a therapist. What I do is help you take those distorted cognitions, distorted ways of thinking, and give you tools to combat those, right? And so sometimes we just need people to give us tools to show us different ways. Because if I only know one way, Regina, but if you give me an option, you open my mind up to saying, you know what, this option may work. So we give options. And so that's another thing. Part of rerouting is looking at additional options and just knowing that just because you did something today this way doesn't mean that it's always going to work that way. And so you have to reroute your thinking or even find an alternative plan. And sometimes when we think things are not going the way that we want them to go, sometimes we need to pause and say, what else can I do? What should I do in this moment and not stay stuck?
So staying stuck.
Mm-hmm.
How do you actually reroute your client, your what do you say? Your customer. I say customer, your client. How do you reroute? How do you reroute someone because they have that same mind frame of thinking?
So sometimes we have stinking thinking, right?
Well, wait a minute, stinking thinking.
Yeah, sometimes our thinking
is that a word?
Stinking thinking.
Wait a minute, that's a word. Stinking thinking.
Yes.
I need to look that up, Dr.
Look
T.
it up. Sometimes we do have stinking thinking, and sometimes we need to think of things differently. So what I do is give you tools on how to think differently. So if you're always hard on yourself and you're always saying, you know, I can't do this and I can't do that, I show you ways. You know what? Yeah, you can. The very thing that you're telling yourself you can't do, I show you how to turn that around and say, you know what, I can do it. It may be challenging. I may have to do things differently, but I can achieve the goal if that's the end thing that I want to do.
You can achieve your goal if that's the end thing that you want to do.
Yeah. If the goal is to change your mindset, then let's start with thinking about how we can do that. All the negative things, then you give yourself 2 positive things. So yeah, I help reroute thinking.
So you know what? I think that we're not in a new year, right? We're not what New Year's resolution, but this morning, and I'm saying that because I didn't know how to reroute. I went into panic mode.
But think about it, though. You didn't know how to do it, but you had a system that was sharing different ways of how to move.
I had that phone and that tool.
Right. So those are tools, right? And so when you're giving tools, it may not be traditional. That's not because normally you would know how to get here, right? And so sometimes you have to be open to changing the way you're doing things by using tools.
But
or
I like
using
my
help.
mind, though. Sometimes because we depend on the phone so much, I like my mind.
That's good.
You know, my mind to have that one route, that one option, that second option, that third option.
Yeah.
And then my second option was going to take me, rerouting me all the way 15 minutes another way, just like we went to breakfast last Saturday and you said, well, I'm not following you no more because you took me 10 minutes out the way.
Yeah. So things can take you all the way out the way. And just like I said earlier, sometimes we have our own plans, right? So even if we think about biblically, right? Jeremiah 29:11.
Oh, you're taking us to the Bible. I love it. Go ahead.
Says, you know, for I know, the Lord says, I know I have the plans that I have for you, saith the Lord. Plans to prosper you and give you an expected end, right? And so sometimes we got our own plans, but that's not the plan that the Lord wants us to take, right? So we have to be open and shift to what's really our destiny, like what we're supposed to be doing, where we're supposed to be going. And in that case, you have me all over the world. You know?
Well, so basically what we have to understand is that we need to be able to reroute our way of thinking. We need to think differently in anything we do. We need to be able to have options.
Yeah, but not just thinking, though. It could be a reroute in life. You know, sometimes you need to change trajectories. You need to change the way you're doing things.
Well, you know, well, I think what we do is because we're so stuck in our ways, is that we figure that we don't have to have change.
Change is inevitable, though.
But change is, when we get to a certain age, we don't want change. We want everything to be the same. But it's about being able to adjust. How do you maneuver?
Yeah, but if you don't change, you don't grow.
Right. Say it again. If you don't change, you don't grow.
Right.
Can we say it one more time?
If
you don't change, you don't grow.
Right.
So, go ahead, Dr.
No, I'm just saying growth is essential for this life we live in, and change is inevitable. You cannot go through life and do things the exact same thing. It is said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. Mm-hmm. And so if you want something different, you got to do something different.
Something different. So we're saluting mothers today because it is Mother's Day. Yeah. And you can give us a call today at 1-866-423-9578, 866-423-9578. I'm giving out a $25 gift card. You can pick it up on Monday. Yeah. We get that one caller today. The first caller.
Yeah.
The first caller. And it has to make sense. If you don't call in now, it has to make sense according to the topic.
Yeah.
So
reroute.
Reroute 866-423-9578, 866-423-9578. That first caller will get a $25 gift card.
And you know what? I just want to shout out Flora White. Flora White was a woman who rerouted my life. So I'm thankful for her. She was born in 1919, so she is gone on to be with the Lord. But I thank God for sending her on my path to help reroute what was said to happen to me. It changed because she helped reroute me. So thankful to her this morning.
Well, amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with Kone Bowman, owner of Bowman Associates. We'll be right back, and we'll be talking about inheritance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's our
excited
topic.
About it.
Yes.
Yes. Leaving an inheritance.
Leaving an inheritance,
Yeah.
yes. So we'll be right back.
Are you paying high interest rates on a car loan? Do you desire to purchase a home, but you're unable to get approved? Perhaps you're repeatedly getting denied for credit when applying for credit cards. Listen, better credit doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen. I've helped hundreds of people better their credit and their overall financial situation by applying a simple set of instructions that anyone can follow. Call me today, 1-800-988-9184. That's Kathy Washington, your financial impact coach, at 1-800-988-9184. Don't delay. Call today.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Lunghamer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed and driving today. Simply Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. Ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
We're back, and we have Kone Bowman, the owner of Bowman's Associates, in the studio this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kone.
Hola.
Wait, hold on. Wait, are we still in Detroit? Or do we? Because I'm trying to go on vacation, and you talking about hola? Because I'm ready to be over there. Hola.
Si, señorita.
Oh, hey. See? All right, Mr. Bowman. We excited today from Bowman and Associates. Kone joins us once a month, and we're so glad you're on. So what are we talking about today? Let's get into it.
This morning, we just want to talk briefly about setting up an inheritance.
Yes.
Amen. A lot of people don't really realize that that's something that has been decreed, actually, in the Word of God.
Okay, so wait, Kone, before we go right into inheritance, we got a caller that called to win today's. We giving out a $25 gift card. So caller, let's put the caller through real quick.
Good morning. Good morning, Margaret. How you doing?
Hi, I'm fine. This show is so exciting. I like the topic. I like when she was talking about change because I I'm part of a women's group, and that speaker would be a great speaker for the women. It's a small group, but God tells us to not despise small beginnings. She would be so encouraging to the women.
Well, all right. Well, Margaret, congratulations. You won today. I'm so excited that you're on with us. Be in the driver's seat. We on here every Saturday. You listen.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did you? I want to know how did you come across being in the driver's seat?
I listened to this. My radio stayed on at night. I never turned it off because I like to just have the Word of God, inspirational messages going on all night, whether I'm asleep or awake. And this is positive. I like being around positive people and listening to positive messages and messages that will lift you up when you're feeling down.
Well, we appreciate this morning. We appreciate that you keep your radio on all night, because I keep my TV on all night. So that my TV is my company. So I totally understand. But we're going to have Nathan, our
radio rap.
No, this is our engineer. Our engineer. He's a new guy. So shout out to Nathan, because he came in this morning and he had all our Facebook, had everything set up. So shout out to him this morning. Yeah. We appreciate him. This is our second week with him. So we're excited to have him. He's young, energetic, and he knows what he's doing.
Come on, Nathan.
Come on now.
So, Margaret, I'm so excited. So he's going to get your information, and we're going to follow up with you so you can get this $25 gift card. Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you, and same to you if you're a mom and all the other mothers that are listening.
And thank you.
All right, see you soon.
All right, have a good day. Happy Mother's Day. So, Kone, what are we talking about today?
We're talking today about setting up an inheritance. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of people don't really realize that that's something that's actually been ordained by God. For the Bible says over in Proverbs that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, we wrestle with trying to bury somebody, let alone set up an inheritance program, because we focus on the wrong thing. We think that we can't afford it, and the reality of it is you can't afford not to have it. Because in this day and age, people are leaving here at an alarming rate. We just lost a family member yesterday, so a lot of people don't realize that, it is a transition. We simply go to sleep on this side. We wake up somewhere else. But when we leave here, it's not over. We have to make sure that we're leaving an inheritance for our children's children. And how we do that is to properly put ourselves in a winning position.
Come on, win. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, let's win.
We got to win.
Now, how we win, though?
Losing is not an option.
Come on, mediocrity isn't either. Come on, somebody.
So what we do is we have to make sure that we're funding our life insurances properly. We have to make sure that we're funding 401ks properly. We have to make sure that we're putting things in place, because we have to live like we're leaving. We're never going to be here forever. We're not supposed to be here forever. We're passing through this place on the journey to go to our final destination. But in leaving here, we have to make sure we put things in place. A lot of times people wonder, how can they work the same job as somebody else, but yet that person on the other side seems to be able to get past a little bit easier. They seem to be able to have a little bit more. They seem to be able to do a little bit more. It's simply because somebody that came before them had the foresight of putting things in place to leave something behind for them. They've left a hand up, a foot up, if you will, to help them get to the next level. And that's why the race is not quite equal, because we don't always make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do.
So I don't know, the last couple of times you came in, I feel like I got one foot in the grave, because you're making me prepare a little bit more. And it may be negative for what I just said, but it's not, because it's getting me to think about what I need to do, continue to get my things in order.
That's good.
Because we're all not going to be here one day, right? Yeah. So we have to live right now. So when you say, because you're talking like you're talking to a male, right?
Right.
So are you talking to, is it going to be both women and a man getting ready for inheritance?
Yeah, it's not just male, or it's for everybody. Okay. It's universal, because at the end of the day, we all have to leave here. We all have to leave this place. And so whatever we leave behind, my mother was a single parent. And so my mother put things in place in regards to grave sites and headstones and things of that nature. Those things cost. When you go after a person passes away to the cemetery and you want to buy a plot, it costs more because it's last minute. It's like anything else. If you prepare ahead of time, then you've already made the necessary things, laid the foundation or the, if you will, framework that'll putting things in place. To make sure that my mother paid our grave sites when we were kids, so those have been paid for forever. And it's not. We have this taboo a lot of times in the community that we think that, oh well, I'm speaking evil, I'm speaking bad things. No, you're speaking reality.
Yeah,
we have to leave here again. For a simple term, 25-year term policy to put things in place to make sure that you're at least covering the assets if you leave here prematurely, so that they're not coming taking everything back or having to close or sell the house to get out because they can't afford to pay it. It's bad enough that the person's left this place, but then you've left them in a state of disarray because most jobs give you, 5 to 7 days bereavement time? No one recovers of a loved one after 5 or 7 days. It takes time. And time is something, unfortunately, that's one of the most precious commodities that we have. Once it's spent, you can't get it back.
But I want early on, give people your telephone number, because if they want to reach you, how would they reach you and what do you do? And I'm not cutting you off the segment up. I just want to know a number where people can reach you, because right now people need to understand not only getting their life together, right, but then think about their insurance needs, their card, automobiles, all that, everything being taken care of, everything on paper.
No. Actually, we're Bowman and Associates. Our phone number is 1-888-204-2766. That's 1-888-204-2766. And what we do, we help with all of those things. We help people to get qualified for the proper programs if it's available for them, and we help them to try to figure out what's the next move, because again, we all have to transition. To make sure that we leave things in place, like we said, an inheritance for our children's children. The Bible tells us in Timothy that if a man doesn't take care of his own house, he's worse than an infidel, an unbeliever. So if we're supposed to be believers, think about this. I want just something to ponder on.
Ponder for your thoughts, Dr. T.
We give Visa 22%. Or 29, depends on what your credit rating is.
Or 31.
Right.
We give American Express 19.9%. But we can't even give ourselves 10%, let alone give our 10% in our tithe that we're supposed to give on a weekly basis. Because the scriptures tell us, let a man lay aside the first of the week, a tenth of God has prospered him. So if we're not even taking care of giving meat to our Father's house, we surely aren't putting any meat in our own house.
That's real.
So we want to ride around, we want to look good, but then at the end of the day, I've yet to see a U-Haul truck backed up to a cemetery putting everything in a grave with an individual these days.
You haven't? You didn't see that?
Haven't
I
seen it. I
just saw that a couple months ago.
I thought I saw a rider truck ride through the cemetery, but they didn't drop anything off.
Right. So you can't die with it. You can't leave with it.
You can't take it with you.
I like the fact that you're talking about leaving a legacy, because here's the thing. Oftentimes we leave bills and not legacy.
Exactly.
And so early on, I'm leaving legacy. I'm not leaving here empty. Like when I say empty, no GoFundMes, no disrespect to anybody who has to do that. I understand. But you said something to us on a segment before of how GoFundMes are like a lifestyle to some. And so now we all have the opportunity to prepare. Now, Mr. Bowman, share with the listeners like a simple, like if they just wanted to get a simple $10,000 policy, what would that look like? Because there's listeners now, they're saying, you know what, I don't have insurance. How can I start small? What will it take me to get something so I would leave zero balance in the earth?
Right now, statistically, it's saying that it costs basically between $10,000 to $15,000 to bury an adult, between $5,000 to $10,000 to bury a child in the United States. And what that basically means, we're talking about the funeral cost, because Mr. Cobb and the city of Pontiac is not touching a body without having their money. And neither is Mr. Moon.
That's true.
And so they're in business like other businesses are in business. And that's what they get paid to do. So a simple burial policy, which is a $10,000 policy, it basically, depending on the person's health, everything is dependent upon your health, your age, the lifestyle that you have. There are things out there depending upon your age called a guaranteed life policy. You see them on television all the time. But like we say always in this industry, that the headline giveth, but the fine print taketh away.
That's
Amen.
it.
When they tell you that you can get a life insurance policy for $10 a month, what they're talking about is $10 per unit thousand. A unit thousand, basically, if you're talking about a $10,000 policy, it's going to be $100 or $10 for every $1,000 worth of insurance that you get. Mm-hmm. That's something called a guaranteed policy. Those policies basically, they don't ask health questions. They more so just ask very few questions. But what most insurance companies also won't tell you is this, and I know I sound like I'm all over the place, but I'm trying to squeeze a lot in a little time, that no matter who you're with, and I don't care what company, if it's Gerber, whoever, and I'm not picking on that particular company, but it doesn't matter what company it is the point that I'm making. You're talking about a 2-year contestability period. And what that 2-year contestability period means is that if a person passes away within the first 2 years of owning that policy, that insurance company can contest it. So if there's a pre-existing condition that's not talked about or given, when the questions are asked and that person passes away, that insurance company is not going to pay the premium. They're going to refund the premiums that were paid back out to that individual. But the guaranteed issue policies is a little bit different. You make it past the 2-year contestability period, no matter what element you had prior to that, they're going to pay out that death benefit. So if it's $10,000, you're going to get that. A simple whole life policy is a $10,000 policy. It might cost a person about $30 a month, depending upon their age. And if you get a 20-year, 10-year term policy, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars for a fraction of the cost.
So, Kone, I know that we got to cut it off. I think we need to dedicate another segment where we do a continuation of this, because we only we were only able to get a fraction of what you wanted to say about that. But you have an event coming up, we know, and we want you guys to get your pen and paper ready and also give your number out too. Again.
Okay. Hey, man, we're actually my fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, is actually sponsoring a workshop coming up on May the 18th at 11 o'clock a.m. Our address is going to be 29260 Grand River, and that's 29260 Grand River, and that's in Farmington Hills, Michigan. And again, it's starting at 11 o'clock a.m. and it's a symposium. Basically, we're talking about protecting your family, and the title of our seminar is going to be GoFundMe is Not Life Insurance. And we're going to be talking about the how-tos and giving all the nuggets that are needed to put things in place so that we are leaving a legacy, an inheritance, if you will, for our children's children.
Wow.
And your number, how do we reach you?
And again, I can be reached at 1-888-204-2766. That's 1-888-204-2766. And again, we look forward to seeing everybody there. Come out, have some appetizers. Most importantly, get some information, because the more information that you have, the better decisions that you can make.
Well, amen.
Well, you heard it here first. Bowman and Associates, you all make sure that you go out and support that event, and we'll be right back after we take this break.
Are you paying high interest rates on a car loan? Do you desire to purchase a home, but you're unable to get approved? Perhaps you're repeatedly getting denied for credit when applying for credit cards. Listen, better credit doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen. I've helped hundreds of people better their credit and their overall financial situation by applying a simple set of instructions that anyone can follow. Call me today, 1-800-988-9184. That's Kathy Washington, your financial impact coach, at 1-800-988-9184. Don't delay. Call today.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Lunghamer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have, from warranty work to routine oil changes. We treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed and driving today. Simply Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. Ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
We're back.
So we're back.
Oh, are we back?
We are back.
Are we back?
Yeah, and I'm so excited.
We're back.
I'm so excited. This is the Therapist Corner now, and we have Dr. Miracle in the building. Good morning, Dr. Miracle.
Good morning, Dr. Miracle.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
So I'm having a miracle.
You having a miracle? Okay.
I'm having a miracle.
Look like you having a fit.
I'm having a miracle. So, I love that name.
Yeah, Dr. Miracle. I love it. So Dr. Miracle is in the building, y'all. So Dr. Miracle Noor, she is the co-founder and CEO of Building Beyond Barriers in LWSC Community Circle, where she serves in her role as a nationally certified trauma recovery coach and mental health first aid instructor with a doctorate in ministry. I'm so excited to have her in the building today. First of all, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So what better person to have on the show this month than Dr. Miracle? So good morning again, Dr. Miracle.
Good morning, Dr. Teresa.
Listen, I'm so excited. So let's just get right into it. Our word of the day was reroute. So when I say that, since you are a trauma coach, when I say the word reroute, what automatically comes to your mind?
Actually, the first thing that came to my mind is the GPS.
Okay.
Right?
Because Regina's wasn't working this morning.
It was not. Mine wasn't either. Okay. So, the GPS automatically has the maps already downloaded into it. And if you make a wrong turn or you go opposite direction, it's going to tell you, it's going to reroute. And when I work with my clients, and I always tell them that sometimes we got to reroute our thoughts, right? When a thought comes up because an experience triggers a situation and takes us back to an emotion or feeling or bad thought, then we have to reroute our thoughts. And even though we're not responsible for what happened to us in that moment, we can take control. We don't have to react. We can respond.
You know, that's good.
Oh, she said you don't have to react. What did you say?
You don't have control.
You don't have to react. You can respond.
But what if you don't want to?
That's the thing.
Because I didn't want to. I had to call Dr. T. I said, I don't know what to do.
And guess what I said? I don't know what to say either. I depend on the GPS.
I didn't know what to do because I knew my mind would have took me 15 minutes out the way. And being 15 minutes out the way, it probably would have took me 25. Yeah. But I panicked. I didn't know how to reroute. I panicked and I made a phone call. Like you call a friend.
That's it. Right? Call a friend. Yeah. I think for us, vulnerability is a key to our healing and rerouting, right? Ooh. Being able to reach out to call somebody and to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't know. To be vulnerable enough to say, I may have made a wrong decision. I may have made a wrong choice, but I'm going to need some help and some guidance out here. Being able to call somebody and just talk to somebody, whether it's a friend or a therapist. We all got to reroute sometime, and sometimes we all need help to do that.
That's good. That's good. And, I go back to the word because the word says that, the Lord says, I know I have the plans I have for you. But sometimes we got our own plans. And so we have to be able to reroute, right? To, this isn't working for me. So, Dr. Miracle, you are a trauma recovery coach. And so oftentimes I know you see people who are triggered. So how do you help those that are triggered get beyond what's triggering them?
Sometimes in a moment, it's really hard to do, right? Because when a person is triggered, some people go into a hypervigilant state or hyperarousal state, and you can't reason with them in that moment, right? So sometimes just holding space for them.
I love that, holding space, because sometimes we want to rush the process, but sometimes you have to let them sit in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And hold space for them without judgment, because something has triggered whatever behavior or emotion. And sometimes it's not the present person, but a version of them that just needs to be seen, to be heard, and to be validated.
Let's talk about that. So not the present person. Let's kind of talk about that, because Regina look at me like, what now? Let's talk about that.
I was going to say something, but...
because, sometimes we're not operating in our true self, who we are. Sometimes we're operating in that other person.
And so that other person. That other version of you.
Other version of me. That's right.
That other version of me. There's times when I got married, when I first got married, you talking about somebody's triggers was going off? My triggers was going off all the time because I've experienced abuse. And so here is my husband in this house and my kids is in this house and these kids ain't his. So every time he going down the steps, I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning going down the steps because I'm triggered. Right.
So is that common though? Is that common to
everybody? But all of our experiences are different and we respond different. And it's based on our experiences and based on what we know and what we've been through. But for a lot of people who have experienced betrayal, trauma, or abuse in any type of fashion, it is common to be triggered. It is common to have mistrust issues, right? And you don't see it in that moment as because it's something that happened to you. But when you allow yourself to hold space and you question your thoughts and your behavior and become curious about that, then you can tie it into and say, well, okay, I'm going down there because of fear.
Yeah.
Fear of what?
And let's talk about fear. Come on, Regina, what you can ready to say?
Okay, so I always got to give myself an example of things when you talk about trigger, right? Because I'm going to take it back to I work at a dealership. And the one thing what really triggers me is that if I'm talking to you and you're not listening, and that's a trigger. I'm talking to you, you coming to me for a service, right? And you're not listening to me.
Is it because you could possibly feel ignored?
Yeah, ignored. I got a problem with being ignored. Yeah. You coming in for a service, I'm talking to you, right? And I mean, I specialize with customers that got bad credit, bruised credit, and I walk you through the process. But if you're not listening to me, I got a problem with it. Yeah. If you talking to me wrong or you not understanding, not asking questions, I got a problem with that. If you sit at my desk and you taking all these phone calls and you at my time, our time, I got a problem with that. So is that, I mean, how do you handle that? That's a trigger because I will get up and be like, okay, I got to go. What is that? I mean, I got to get advice. So they switching me. Listen, they switching me off this morning, y'all.
I'm going to let you handle that because you the guest. I deal with it all the time.
I do. I'm like, are you listening to me?
Yeah.
And so what that is, sometimes I repeat myself 2 or 3 times to make sure you heard me. You know, and that's how I do my videos because I'm like, I'm trying to get you to think before you do. So how do you deal with something like that? Because that's a trigger for me.
I think owning it. I think just owning that when this happens, I feel what? Dismissed, ignored.
Ooh.
Like what I'm saying don't matter. Yeah. Right? And then pulling that back, rejected. Yeah. And then taking that back to when did I first feel like this and why this making me mad? Because I'm an adult now. Yeah. So if you want to be on your phone and be distracted, yeah, that may bother me, but why would it trigger whatever that emotion that it triggers? And so going back to when that first happened or when it happened that it didn't get resolved, that you just kind of suppressed it or repressed it. And now every time you feel dismissed because somebody is not paying attention or they're putting something else before you.
Well, I feel that way because I know when you go to the doctor's office, right, you got that time to see the doctor. And they got their time, boom, boom, boom. And I mean, I'm not a doctor. You know what I mean? I'm not healing you, right? But I'm giving you the answers. You know what I mean? So everybody has their own lane.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that in that time, you just need to set boundaries. Like at this time, you know what? You're not going to be able to sit at my desk and do that. If you would like to do that, then I'm going to ask you to go sit in the waiting room or I'm going to ask you to sit somewhere else because time is valuable, right? And so like Dr. Miracle said, you have to understand like why are you being triggered, but you can do something in that moment. Like, you know what? This is bothering me, but how can I eliminate this at this moment? How can I deal with this in this moment?
I'm getting therapy this morning.
So that means you may have to say, you need to get up from my desk and I can make some phone calls. I need to reroute my thinking and get myself back where I need to be at. Normally, it's something within you, though.
So you're right, because you know what I do is I try to do this, and sometimes I don't, but I try to, somebody come in and see me, I talk to them, we get it started, and then while we work in the process, I sit them in the lounge.
That's good.
Because and usually sometimes I may let them stay at my desk, and then I get up and I do other things. Yeah. But I need to learn how to always sit them in the lounge so I can move on to another task. Yeah. Because so I can keep going with whatever I have going on.
And I think I like what Dr. Teresa said too. That moment where you put that boundary and you maintain when you speak up for yourself, it's that moment that you give voice back to whatever part that got dismissed, right? Yes. I remember being at going to get my nails in, and I sat there for like maybe 35 minutes, and they didn't acknowledge me. They acknowledged everybody else. Now, a long time ago, I would have just sat there and waited. So I got up and I let them know, hey, I was there and I don't appreciate the way that you've ignored me while I was sitting here. And, you know,
really?
I got ready. I said, you know what? I no longer even want the service. I'll leave. And he was like, no, come back. And I just walked away with a smile and said, no, thank you. Because in that moment, I took my power back from every time I felt dismissed or every time I felt like I wasn't. I took it back in that moment. Because when we show up for ourselves, we heal a version of ourselves.
That's it. And so I'm glad you said that, because healing is continual, right?
Yeah.
And so since you are a trauma recovery coach, I know you teach those that sit before you that, you know what, this is every day you have to get up and make the decision that I'm going to walk in healing. And so even for me as a therapist, I keep myself in line, and I know you do too. And so even just a few weeks ago, one of the choices that I made, I took my power back and I changed the narrative of something. So I love the fact. So talk to us a little bit about how you get your clients to change their narratives.
Sometimes we can get so stuck on what has that we don't focus on what is and what could be.
Come on, let's talk about the could be, though. Because sometimes we so stuck, we can't even see beyond what we see.
Yeah, and it's because we're looking at lenses through the lenses of our past and of our pain.
So tainted lenses,
right?
So come on, tainted lenses.
And so in order for us to reroute, right, our mindset, from having a mindset that has been birthed through trauma to having a mindset that is ready to grow.
Keep that thought. We'll be right back after we take this break with Dr. Miracle.
Are you paying high interest rates on a car loan? Do you desire to purchase a home, but you're unable to get approved? Perhaps you're repeatedly getting denied for credit when applying for credit cards. Listen, better credit doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen. I've helped hundreds of people better their credit and their overall financial situation by applying a simple set of instructions that anyone can follow. Call me today, 1-800-988-9184. That's Kathy Washington, your financial impact coach, at 1-800-988-9184. Don't delay. Call today.
Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed and driving today. Simply Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. Ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
We are back, and we're with Dr. Miracle. So, Dr. Miracle, when we went on break, I asked you, how do you help change the narrative, your clients' narratives? And you were in the midst of it. So let's pick back up.
Pretty much trying to get them from not shifting from looking at their life through the tainted lenses and looking at it through.
I got to give a shout out. You keep saying tainted lenses, and I literally got a book, and it says tainted lenses. That's the name of a chapter. So I'm so geeked this morning, like, come through. Okay, so let's go.
And just to get to reframe and refocus. Okay, what happened and what did that take away? Where do you want to be now? And how can we get there?
Okay.
So just kind of reframing. We don't want to stay stuck. We understand what happened to us, but we don't have to stay there. We can choose to move forward, and we just have to. It's a decision.
Come on, it's a decision.
It's a decision.
So today, choose you this day to make the decision.
This day, yeah.
Right,
but what if you don't want to? What
but
if
see, here's
you
the
don't
thing.
want to
Regina,
change?
you're
though?
saying something, because a lot of people, they like being stuck. They like
because
it.
That's the only thing they know.
Not
is
so
to be
much
stuck.
as that's the only thing they know. But come on, let me piggy. Let me alley-oop this over here to Dr. Miracle.
I don't know. I think it's a mixture, but I think sometimes it is that some people just don't know. They are stuck, and people are saying, just come on, just move forward.
Yeah.
But it's a strategy to it.
It is.
How do I get unstuck? Because what trauma has done to my mind has caused my mind to make me stuck.
Come on.
So I don't want to be stuck, but until we deal with the issue that has that part of my brain that don't give me motivation locked, because trauma shrinks our brain, until we deal with whatever causing the compassion fatigue and the other things that's actually working against me, I can't just move on because it looks sunny on the outside to y'all.
But if you look at, do you surround? You know, people say you have to surround yourself with good people, right? Is it
That
just
sounds good.
is that what needs to happen because you're stuck? And if you with people that's stuck too, then how do you grow?
So that sounds good, but I'm gonna let Dr. Miracle mess with that.
Well, I was talking to Dr. I was talking to
you
Dr.
talking to
Miracle. I was just looking at you.
Oh, okay. So I'm listen.
So I'm gonna alley-oop it back to you. I'm being a smart because it's what we do every week.
You know what? I love it.
I just said it sounds good though. Like literally, I said it sounds good because oftentimes we can say something, it sound good, and we want to do it, but it's some action that needs to happen.
Yeah.
So come on.
And a lot of times that action is within you.
It's always within you, right?
Because we attract versions of us.
Yeah.
And so if there's somebody in my corner that's negative, there's a little bit of nasty negative somewhere in me, and it may not be in this area. So to me, I believe that the people in our circles, they resemble us in a certain way. And so we have to deal with us, and we have to realize, okay, what is it do I want? Who do I want to be around? And what type of person do I want to be, right? I think that what trauma takes away from us is our identity.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's talk
and so
about
we have
that.
identity crisis. I become who everybody else expected me to be because I fear being rejected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I become what somebody else want me to be because I don't want to be abandoned.
Yeah.
But then I have to figure out who am I and how to walk in that identity and face the imposter syndrome dead on.
Come on, imposter syndrome. And that's a real syndrome.
Yeah.
Y'all. So there are people who are literally walking around imposters.
Yeah.
They're not living out their true self. So talk to us a little
So
bit.
they're phony.
So wait a minute. Regina had a question. Go ahead.
So no, I wrote this down when you said early on, when you show up for yourself, you're healing for yourself. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I think that needs to be piggybacked of just a little bit more.
I think about the people that suffers in silence.
Okay.
Right? I think about the people who has been hurt and rejected and abandoned and kept that to themselves. I think about the people that's been bullied, that has experienced emotional neglect and different things from family and households and friends. The moment you begin to say, I love myself enough that I don't have to accept this behavior, you are healing parts of you that didn't speak up before, that didn't have the courage, that didn't have, maybe you was a child. But every time that I have showed up for myself, I healed a version of myself that I didn't even know that needed healing.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Healing is daily. So every time you show up for yourself, you heal a portion of yourself.
Absolutely.
That is real. And so, Regina, you wrote about in the book we're in, you wrote about being bullied. And so sometimes we stay stuck in those ages to where things happen to us, that when the traumatic experience happened or when whatever happened, we stay stuck in that area. But you can go back and pick that person up. You can go back to that little girl, that little boy, and say, you know what? I'm coming back for you because you're going to grow up. Because sometimes we grow up in stature, but not inwardly. Or we can get stuck and not grow up. And you can go back and get that person.
I think for me I can't even go back because he burned in a house fire. The guy actually.
No, I'm talking about you.
Okay.
Like go back to you where
Okay.
it happened to you and you can heal you. So when you wrote about that, that was another form of healing for you because you were able to verbalize it. And oftentimes trauma takes our voice away.
Absolutely.
Well, I think too many times people don't understand why a person's why someone who they don't realize how people are. They don't realize how did that person get to where they are.
Yeah.
You just don't wake up and become the person you are.
What?
You have triggers, you have things. You have things that affect you in order to get where you are.
Yeah, environment.
What's your process? How did you get there?
Yeah.
What happened?
So, Dr. Miracle, I want to let's go backwards. Like, how did you even get in this field? Because, oftentimes I hear that trauma got me here or a situation got me here. We choose the field, but actually the field actually chose you. So kind of talk to me about how did you get here today?
Listen, the field chose me. My mom probably went through every trauma you can think of before she became 15.
Okay.
Back then, which was over 71 years ago, that was a time where mental health challenges was either demonized or ostracized, right? And so we, all they knew was to medicate the misery. So imagine a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old being sexually abused, getting pregnant by her abuser, and then also having a child that died. And have a mental breakdown. That's what they called it back then. And then all you got was medicated, your misery medicated, but you never got to deal with the trauma. So what the trauma does is it hijacks our emotional and social development.
Come on, hijack.
It It also
Come on, because that's what it does.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
Right? It causes a change in our belief in ourselves and other people and even those around us. So this just took her on a life of trauma.
And so is this a form of honoring her by being in this position that you're in?
Actually, it is because I got into understanding trauma because of her.
Well, you know, tomorrow is Mother's Day. So
tomorrow is Mother's
come on,
Day.
Let's
And
shout
her birthday was 2 days ago.
So let's shout her out. What's her name?
Her name is Joyce Millette, and that is where we get the A Night to Rejoice.
Yeah.
It's in honor of her. And it's also, we did a teen mental health program in honor of her called Pathways to Rejoice.
Listen.
Because the teens need, if we can help our teens, we don't have to help us as adults.
Come on. So let's just talk about A Night to Rejoice. Tell the listeners, how can they be a part of this event that's taking place?
We'll still have tickets available. You can go to www.lwsc3.org/gala, and you'll be able to purchase your tickets there.
And this ticket is in honor of?
It is in honor of all proceeds of this event goes towards the Pathways to Rejoice Teen Mental Health Program.
Yes, but let's talk a little bit about what this event is. So I'm super excited, y'all, because I'm going. I'm the MC.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I'm going. So let's talk about the date, the time, the location.
All right, so it is May 25th, and the doors will open at 5 p.m. It'll be from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's going to be at the Barrister Garden Banquet Center in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, and the tickets are $75.
Yeah, so again, that's on May 25th from 5 p.m. to 10 at the Barrister Garden.
Yes.
So that name I messed up. And so I'm excited. So all of those who would like to go, please get your ticket. You can get your ticket from lwsc3.org/gala. And so, Dr. Miracle, how can people get in touch with you if they want to sit and be coached by you, or if they want their teens, if they need some mental health services? How could they get in contact with you, because you are a mental health first aid instructor as well? Yes,
absolutely. So we do, we teach teen, adult, and youth mental health first aid, but you can reach me on Facebook. You can reach me on LinkedIn as Coach Miracle Norrid, and also Instagram, Coach Miracle Norrid.
So shout out to Dr. T, because you're getting an award that evening. So
she left that out.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
So it was on my heart to do a Mental Health Champion Award to those who are really going over and beyond to help people navigate through the emotional and mental health challenges. And so when I think about mental health challenges, I think about people like Dr. Teresa and others, and we just want to celebrate them.
Well, shout out to you. Salute to you, Dr. T. You guys have a great week.
Yeah, thank you again,
Dr.
Dr. Miracle. Happy Saturday, everybody.
Happy Saturday.
You've been listening to Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore.
Brought to you by Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet of Waterford.
Be in the Driver's Seat, a Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you. From Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore, thank you for listening.